I told you guys, I was talking to one of my friends last night at the gym where I'm doing the other class in Reading, and he's been doing it a while, and he's always been a musician, and I was interested in kind of what his opinion on this was, because I felt like when I was out at the training and with people who had been doing it for a long time, it seemed like everybody was really into music or dance or some kind of expression that, you know, I'm not used to being around everyone being into that sort of thing. And it was like literally every person there was like playing an instrument or like singing while we're doing the breathing or whatever. And these weren't like all like super hippie people. I mean, there was like MMA fighters there and stuff, and everybody was like feeling the groove. So I feel like for me it's come out, I've wanted to do music more since doing it, but I've really gotten into mythology. As I told you guys this last time, you know, that's kind of a big, some of the ways that I relate to it and relate to how it's fitting into my life are with like stories, and that's, you know, some of it's like telling these guys stories and things like that. But he said the same thing. He said that and this is a guy who's played the bass, he's 63 now, and he played the bass since he was 13. And he said that in the last 9 months, for him, music is like a new thing. Like, it's totally different. And so, you know, he's someone who's practicing regularly, and I feel like there's definitely something to it. You know, there's a mind-body thing for sure that's going on, and that's coming out in the actual science that they're doing, you know, studying both WIM and studying volunteers through WIM's training. But I think there's something more to it, whether it's a social thing or better connected to nature or whatever it is. There's definitely something happening. So I'm going to keep going with the story stuff. And I'm going to try and convince you guys that Gandalf and Dumbledore are going to equate with your hormones. So give me 2 minutes. Are we more of a Harry Potter crowd or a Lord of the Rings crowd? I kind of figured it was a Tolkien crowd here. I'll use Dumbledore once in a while if anybody needs me to, but so last time we talked about, like, we're talking kind of about like the hero's journey, right? The cycle, the storytelling arc and the cycle of how stories go. And you know, this stuff is all I think also how you're supposed to relate back to yourself and how you approach hard things in life, you know, whether it's a sport or a musical instrument or conquering the cold or whatever it is. And so we talked about the beginning of the hero's journey is like the call to action, and you cross the threshold, right? So everybody's here already, and you didn't have to be here, but you came, you know, and you want to make some kind of change in your life. So we're there. We did that part.
I love that. It's so fantastic.
So the next part of the journey is usually, you know, you start out on the journey, and there's usually some kind of helper. So there's three types of helpers. Usually it's there's the ally, who's kind of like a person who's on the same level, right? So like in Lord of the Rings, this would be the other hobbits. They don't have any superpowers, but you know, Pippin and Merry are pretty helpful when they need to be. There's sidekicks, and so like sidekicks are kind of lame. Usually they're like comic relief guys. So that one I have to use Harry Potter, because that's like Ron. Ron's not really that powerful, but like, you know, he's goofy. So I don't know, Lord of the Rings, I don't know really who the sidekick would be, if there is one. And then the third helper is supernatural aid. And so the classic one is Lord of the Rings. Supernatural aid is Gandalf. Gandalf he's there. He never tells Frodo what he has to do, but he's always helping. I mean, he literally gives him Bilbo's sword and his mail, and you know, helps him begin the journey, helps him in these critical parts of the journey, and that sort of thing. All right, can you be quiet? You can jump in if you want. Just be quiet, okay? And Dumbledore is the same thing in Harry Potter. And the best part is when I was trying to convince my wife that your brain and your hormones together are this supernatural aid. She's like, I don't know, in Harry Potter, there's like 3 books where Harry's a teenager and he doesn't understand why Dumbledore is doing any of the things that he's doing. And he kind of hates him. And I was like, exactly, he's a teenager and it's like not working out at all. I was like, totally. So I think, you know, hormones are chemical messages. Hormones are these things that we have sensory input coming into our brain, and your hormones are responding and going into your bloodstream and acting on organs throughout your body, right? And so this is in Hey, sweetie, can you please be quiet, okay? You're gonna have to go play up somewhere else if you can't be quiet, okay? Just sit down and be quiet for a little bit. You can play in the water, but you gotta be quiet, all right? So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is affecting our endocrine system, which is all over our body. It's not just in one organ. It's in multiple organs. It's in our stomach lining. It's in parts of our brain. So all of this to say that these, characters are acting on the main character in the story. So these supernatural helpers are acting on the main character in the story the same way that our hormones are. So we're going to try to get in touch with our inner Gandalf or our inner Dumbledore or whatever you guys want to think of it as, and use that supernatural aid to essentially help ourselves become superhuman. Okay, that's the real idea here. Sweetie, you want to sit over here? And be quiet. Okay, on my lap is better. So this is the hormone aspect of it is one of the biggest things that they've actually studied so far with Wim and with volunteers who Wim's trained. And so the two big ones were the first studies that they did with him were injecting Wim and injecting some volunteers with an endotoxin, with E. coli endotoxin, not the actual E. coli bacterium, but the E. coli endotoxin. And typically, this is like a well-documented arc of, at T0 you shouldn't feel anything. At T3 hours, T4 hours, you should feel pretty horrible, nauseous, pretty nasty. And first Wim did it by himself and basically had a mild headache when everybody else was registering their pain level at 9 and 10. He was like, well, it's like a 1 or 2 right now. I've got a mild headache. They took blood samples and his cortisol and his adrenaline were essentially through the roof. So the adrenaline was in his bloodstream was at the level of a person doing bungee jumping for the first time. So, which is pretty insane if you think about it. You're standing at the edge of a cliff and scared to death, scared for your life, and we're doing the same thing by doing the breathing in cold immersion. Why would you want that, right? So that's kind of the thing is, why would you want that, right? We always hear about stress is bad for us. And we don't want stress in our lives. And I kind of explained this a little bit last time, but what we don't want is we don't want open-ended stress, right? So long-term stress, like jobs where you're thinking about what you have to do tomorrow, you have way too much stuff to do, and you're just constantly, your adrenal glands are going all the time, you have low-level stress all the time. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the old style. You come out of the cave after eating, the saber-toothed tiger shows up, you fight him off, and you get all that adrenaline going, and then he's gone or she's gone, and you're safe again, and you can relax, and now we're good. But again, why would we want that, right? Why would we want this big peak of adrenaline and cortisol? And so what they found in both Wim and in the volunteers, and the way they did the volunteer study was they had Wim train 24 people, and he took them up into the mountains of Poland and trained them for 3 days. And the two guys who did the study are quoted as saying they didn't believe that anybody would actually do the training, that no one would come back from it because they'd be like, screw this crap. All 24 completed it, and they picked 12 random, it was all guys actually this first time. They picked 12 random guys out of those 24 and then did the exact same test with the endotoxin. With them, with the exact same results. And so what they found was not only were those hormones elevated, but when those hormones are elevated, all these inflammatory proteins called cytokines, which are normally released in your bloodstream when you have some outside invader coming into your body, were not present at all in many of them. And at the highest level in any of the volunteers was half of what it was in a normal person. And so something in this release of adrenaline and cortisol and these normal stress hormones in that release in that full stress cycle is preventing inflammation from happening. And so that would explain a lot of he's not feeling the same pain level that these guys are. It would explain why my gut health is much better. It would explain why the next studies they're going to do are all with arthritis and other autoimmune diseases. So all that to say, this is, I'm going to try and go each time we do this, I'm going to try and do at least one of these studies so you guys understand, where we're coming from in terms of science. All that to say that there are way more levels than what we can study in science, I think, to this. And so that kind of goes back to the thing I was saying first, right? Science is a bunch of working hypotheses of what we know now, right? And it's to the best of our knowledge, here's what we can understand about this stuff. I think it goes beyond that. I think there's a lot that we are not going to ever understand about this, and it's all sort of how you feel when you're doing this. So that's what I want to try and get as we do this each time, especially as a group. I think there's something really special about doing it in a group that makes you want to do it more, makes you more able to kind of get some feedback from other people about how they're doing it, what successes they've had, how it hasn't worked maybe sometimes. So I just want to encourage you to share that stuff as much as possible. Cool. Get to the breathing. All right, so we'll go over what we did a little bit last time. So we'll lay down on our backs. Just lay flat here, put one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Okay, so flat on your back, head back, one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And what we want to do to start is just breathe regularly. So feel your sort of normal cycle of breath going in and out. And note when you feel your stomach rising, that is one type of breathing. When you feel your chest rising, that is a separate type of breathing. All right, so we're going to feel our diaphragm down at our stomach, and we're going to feel our lungs inflating up at our chest. So now that you've been feeling like the kind of your regular cycle of breathing, I want you to just breathe in, so only your diaphragm inflates. Only diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe in through your nose as much as you can, and take a deep breath and feel your diaphragm inflating, and try and not let your lungs inflate. Okay, and once you've done that, get 3 deep breaths in your diaphragm, then switch to just your lungs. And just try and keep your diaphragm flat. Take a deep breath in through your nose and inflate just your lungs. Okay, and then once you felt 3 or 4 breaths where just your lungs are inflating, I want you to go to the first part of your breath, diaphragm, second part lungs. So about 50-50. We're going to go in, diaphragm's going to inflate, lungs are going to fill, and out. So all the way in, and out. Okay, get 3 or 4 breaths like that. Get a feel for what that feels like. Okay, now we're going to do our first full set of breathing. If you guys want to sit up and look real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe all the way in and then release about halfway. Don't force the release, just release the breath and then go all the way in again right away. Okay, so what it looks like is if you want to go a little bit faster than that, that's fine. If you want to go a little bit slower than that, that's fine too. Okay? So we're going to do that 30 times. On our 30th breath, we're going to go all the way in, release, and then hold. Okay? And once we hold, we're going to hold as long as we can. All right? Like I said, you're probably about 15-20 seconds in. You're going to feel a little bit of an urge to breathe again. And then usually we'll go a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe longer than that, before you really feel an urge, and then take a deep breath in, hold for 15, and release. What's up, Tom?
On my last exhale, you go all the way out?
Not all the way out. Same as the other breaths. So if it helps you, sometimes I find it helps me to go all the way in, and then just, and then hold. Okay, so sometimes that helps for people to, as a cue, to get it all the way in, and then a half a release, and then hold. But if it helps you to just keep the same rhythm as before, do that too. Okay? So I do this sitting up, sitting cross-legged. You can do it laying down. It's up to you. So we're gonna do 3 sets in a row. You guys wanna do it sitting up first, then try one laying down, go back and forth, that's fine.
And then
all right?
We're not getting any water then?
Not getting any water yet. Yep, just breathing right now. All right? Yeah, we don't have to focus yet. All right, so when we're doing this, we're trying to start getting into a meditative place. We're trying to focus a little bit. I think last time I told you guys about a little bit about the Norse mythology. You know, we've got the perfect, the universe in Norse mythology is right here. It's the tree. It's usually an ash tree, and we've got the sycamore. And but it's rooted in the well of Erd is the Norse well that's underneath the tree that's the whole universe. And if you want to think about yourself as Odin's got this 8-legged horse because everything's always better in Norse mythology. Get more of everything. And Odin can ride up and down the tree to go between the different levels of the world. So there's 9 worlds in Norse mythology. And I like to think of those as like levels of consciousness. So you can like ride that horse deeper and deeper until you're down in the well and really deep in your consciousness. That helps. Think about that. If you have like a mantra you want to say in your head, think about that. You want to just focus on your pulse, your heartbeat, count heartbeats. Whatever gets you in that zone, right? We're trying to get into sort of the flow state, peak experience, you know, however we can.
Odin crucified himself on that tree and died, 8 days he died.
Then got an eye, one eye fell out.
No, he gave the eye.
He gave the eye to get the
Right,
power.
so like that, we didn't teach him enough, so he ultimately gave his eye, which leads to the well now. I like the hanging on a tree metaphor sometimes when I'm trying to.
I love it. All right, crucifixion, if that works for you. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna go deep in and release. Deep in.
Can you explain the benefit of the nose breathing?
Release. Yeah, breathe in through your nose. I'll go over why through the nose more after we'll do 3 sets and then I'll explain why. But we want to do nose as much as you can. If you're congested or you have allergies, whatever, just get that breath in there, okay? All the way in, then release. We're going to do 30. So go ahead and start. All the way in, and release. If it helps to keep your hand on your stomach and your hand on your chest, do that. If not, just keep on breathing. Rest your hands to your side if that's helpful to relax. Get that breath in and release. You might start to feel a little bit tingly after about 10 breaths. That's fine, just keep going, you're gonna be fine. You might start to feel a little lightheaded. Keep going through that, you're gonna feel less of it as you go further. Sometimes I feel a little bit of almost like electricity in my fingertips, sometimes in my toes. All right, let's figure we're at 20, so 10 more. Okay, let's do 5 more. Again, deep in and release. Deep in and release. 3 more. Deep in and release. Deep in and release. Let's do 1 more big one. Deep in and release. And hold. Hold it as long as you can. Start to focus. Go deep. It helps to think of the well. Think deep in the well. It helps to think of a mantra. Go deep. Or focus on your heartbeat. Feel the breeze. Feel the ground. Go as deep as you can and try and get that flow state. Breath in, then hold that for 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, and release, and we'll go right into our second set. But hold it as long as you can, as long as it feels comfortable, and then take that deep breath in, and hold. second set, you lay down or sit up. Just go ahead, do the same thing. So we're gonna do it again and go in all the way in, just release. 30 times. Do that last 30th breath all the way in, release, hold again. We're gonna do 3 full sets there. Second set, get those nice deep breaths going. Try to continue focusing through your breathing. Once you hit that 30th breath, all the way in, release, and hold. Again, focus, go deep inside, listen to your heartbeat, listen to your pulse, feel the breeze, feel the sun. Try and go deep, deep down inside, feel that root inside you, which you can go to. At the end of your second set. Once you feel the urge to breathe in all the way, hold it for 10 seconds. You can a little bit longer, then release, go right into that third set. Same thing. Feel like adjusting, move your position a little bit, lay down, sit up, whatever. Do that same breathing. Get that diaphragmatic breath into the lung breath. Okay, all the way in again for 30. If you want to go a little farther, you can. If you feel like you want to go to 40, go ahead and go to 40. Anywhere from 30 to 40 breaths, whatever feels good to you. third set, we're going to be really oxygenated. The bloodstream is going to be full of oxygen. So we should be able to do longer hold on that third set. But again, as soon as you feel the need, once you've done your third set, you've done your hold, as soon as you feel the need to breathe in deep, fill your lungs completely, hold for 10 seconds, longer if you want, and then release. Done your full retention, taking that deep breath and held. Just sit up, relax. Just taking time. Cool. So we feeling good? Feel like you got some oxygen in your bloodstream? Feel like that's motion of the breath? All right, let's do some push-ups. We're gonna do one more set of breathing, okay? We're gonna go 30 breaths again. And on that 30th breath, you can do one of two things. You can either do all the way in and hold it in and do your push-ups, or you can do the same as we do with the breath hold. All the way in, release halfway, and then do your push-ups. I find that I can do probably 20 or 30 more push-ups if I'm holding my breath in than if I do hold it in and then release. So I do like the challenge of the no breath at all push-up. So we'll do 30. And so for example, if this is my 27, I usually do it either on my knees or sitting cross-legged again. And so if this is my last, my 28, 29, 30, I go. And then I just count, see how far I get, and whenever I feel, usually even before I start to feel the burn, I just feel like I need to take a breath. Okay, so we're not breathing at all while we're doing the push-ups. We're just releasing that breath, or we're holding it in either way, and doing as many as we can without any breath at all. Okay?
So, real quick. So
Yep.
not even letting out. So say you have, sometimes that's a little bit of a relief feeling almost.
Yeah.
Can you let it out or no?
You can, yeah, you can
Okay.
do either. So I've done it a lot of times where I breathe in all the way and I like to hold it in.
Yeah.
I think there's something though about releasing some where you're releasing that waste CO2.
Yeah.
You know, and you just actually feel better.
Right.
But now the way I do them is the same as my other breaths.
Okay.
So I do like a 50% release and then I start doing push-ups.
Okay.
All right. After push-ups, a back flip. You have to do a kick up and then you do a back flip. Nope, just do it. Just finish your push-ups and then we'll discuss.
There's a floor routine for you, Matt.
Actually, I think you two have to roll.
Oh, sweet. That'd be awesome. Let's do it.
All right. We ready? All right, let's do some push-ups. Here we go. Ready? All the way in. And release. All the way in. Release. Set more. Three more. Last one. Release and go. As long as you can until you feel like you can breathe, or until you've got burning sensation in your arms. Hold that breath, feel the difference, and how much your blood's oxygenated.
Yeah.
Good job.
28, nice.
Right. How about everybody else? Did you guys do more? Feel like you
Yes.
did more?
Did more.
Definitely? Alright, does anybody know why?
How many I did.
Why can you do more?
I don't know how
More
many
oxygen.
I did.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Peer pressure.
you can do more because you said we could. Totally, right? So if anybody knows cellular respiration, which everything does, you know, we have, we can get up ATP molecules are what we use for energy in our cells. And with cellular respiration, we can either do it aerobically or anaerobically. If we're doing it aerobically, we can potentially produce 36 ATP in one cycle. Okay? Does anybody know how many produce if you do it anaerobically? The most you can? Three. So it's a huge difference. And so, you know, think about this in terms of jiu-jitsu, you know, but yoga, anything you're doing physically, it's a huge difference. So that's one of the big benefits. For me, another benefit is sort of that place that we're going to every time we do the breathing. We're going into a place inside ourselves that is, like I said, the root. I like to think of it as the root where I go to, and it's essentially the flow state. For me, I had never experienced, maybe once or twice in my life, outside of competing in wrestling or jiu-jitsu. And now that I do this, I experience it all the time. That sort of flow state. I feel like I've kind of dissolved the whole ego mind, and I've finally gotten into that spot where I want to be all the time. Right? So for me, this has been a big part of practicing essentially that peak experience kind of sort of thing. That's what this does too. Okay? This forces you to go back to that place so that you can handle it. All right? So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna do the breathing and then get into cold water. The last time we just sort of prepared our minds. I want you to be doing that right now. Start preparing right now. You're gonna get cold, okay? There is cold water here. You're not going to feel cold, okay? Hopefully. We're gonna feel relaxed and okay with it. We're only gonna be in there for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna be out, and we're gonna be fine, okay?
All of this point at one time.
Yeah, man, it's party. Yeah.
Easily. You're in the bottom. We can easily all fit.
We can fit 3 or 4 of us in there. But if anybody really wants to get in, like last time, Tom was like, "I'm lounging, baby." Do it, you know. And like at the gym where I'm doing the class, the one guy is like 6'6", 325. So we're like, "You're good. You go ahead and do it, and we'll wait." You know. So if we want to take
He's still
turns,
in there.
yeah. I mean,
I gotta go home soon.
I'd say, you know, watch what everybody else is doing. If it seems like someone else is ready to be done, you start doing your breathing. You know, just pay attention to each other. We're social animals. We can figure this out, right? So if the way I would do it is, do you guys want me to do a set so you can see how I would? This is how I approach ice baths as well. Okay. So I get ready. No, don't fight it. My brother is the worst. My brother like gets in and he's like, and I was like, relax, dude. You're good. Just relax. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna beat the ice. I'm gonna beat the cold. We're not doing that. We're trying as much as possible to relax through this, right?
Are you sore now? No.
What? Sore, right? Yeah. Okay. So I am already starting to prepare myself mentally to be cold. Okay. I know from experience that the first 30 seconds in here is not going to be fun. Okay. But I also know that much like getting in a hot tub, you adjust to it and then you're fine after that. Okay. So I try and think of it like a hot tub. Like it's not really that cold. We're getting in, we're gonna be okay. Maybe I can't like have conversations with people for those first 30 seconds, but after that, I'm cool, I'm fine, I'm okay. Okay? So I'll do one full set, and if you guys wanna just start getting into it as I'll make some space in here. You can start doing your breathing. Whoever wants to start hopping in, step right up. Okay? So I'll do one and then everybody else can come on in at the same time. If it's your first time doing the full immersion, we don't want to go longer than 2 minutes. If you guys did it last time and you've been training with the cold, we can go up to 5 minutes today. Okay? So the longer you can do in here, the easier it's going to be to do an ice bath. Okay? And next time we're going to be down there in the actual spring. And flowing water is harder than still water. All right? And if you guys want to also, you can do a little bit of that horse stance movement before you do your breath, kind of get here. Sometimes I do the breathing like this. I'll get in that horse stance and I'll just do all my breaths like this. And it kind of warms up my muscles before I get in there. And so I've got my core heat up a little bit. So I'll just do that.
I've still got a bunch of the heads after having that. Yeah. So he's like, out to his side. So the boy just all the way to the head and he went out. I exaggerate like when I do it. I remind myself.
So you can go all the way up.
Your backhand side. Yeah. Is it ridiculous? I texted him this morning. Oh, go.
So if you guys want to start out getting all the way in and then scoot, make room, that's fine. If you just want to get in.
Do you hold your breath when you get in or no?
I hold my breath at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. When I first started, that's what I did always. Hold my breath at the beginning. Now, kind of as a challenge, try and get in without the breathing and without holding my breath.
Right.
One thing I would say is if you're doing this at home and you're doing it in a bath or even a shower, if you start breathing on your knees, You know what happens when you stand up too fast, right? So don't stand up really fast, hold your breath and get in the shower, all right? Stand up for your last 3 or 4 breaths, then hold your breath and get in and try and go to that spot, okay? So again, if it's your first time, no more than 2 minutes in here. If you've done it before, you can go as long as 5 minutes. If you want the space to, lay all the way out, just, lay all the way out when you get in here and everybody else will know that that's what you're doing, okay?
Oh yeah, that was good. That kind of feels good. Yeah, that's good enough. You found this thing. Right.
Try and relax as much as you can. Breathe.
It's about the size of the game. It's real big.
Because that stand-up thing.
It's actually.
Yeah, why don't you wait until there's less visible, and then you can go in and make some space.
You can squeeze in here, honey. We'll get me warm.
We first started.
Yeah, there you go. If you want to go in there next to Josh, he said that's fine. Right in between those two?
It had on.
Really, do you want to do it too?
No. And then we found like dried.
Try and stay relaxed. Just feel it. Feels okay. Feels fine. Feels good.
Buddy, you can just take my hands and feet away.
So try and push some heat there. Focus on them. Like literally start focusing on them and think about your circulatory system and you're actually pushing heat to them right now.
We've seen it. They got outside. They're eating mice. They got it. And even deworm them, they eat in other mouths, they got them again. That's what I got for us. Give it up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do one.
Yeah, we do it too.
I don't like having those big ones over salad.
No, that's not good.
On the kitchen table. Picking stuff up off the really good.
Exactly. Good job. Because I need glasses to see something like that. And I picked up a piece of corn that Jonah dropped in his taco. I said, I picked it up. Yeah, you're going to need it. But that was right here. And we also serve rice on that. Tacos. I think you're going to. I could have easily grabbed that thing, which really wouldn't bother me after the fact. Yeah. Every time I bike.
Does anybody care if I take pictures of them?
The first day after we did this, I went out bike riding, and I decided to do a big inhale when I went around this corner, like a Wim Hof inhale. I flew right into a and it was just this real thick cloud of gnats. I got like 3 of them in my mouth, and it was like, they're coming back out. They were in there deep.
1, 2, I'm on my map.
Yeah.
You guys should go.
I've been doing the baths. Every time I exercise every night. Yeah.
I'll tell you when it's time.
I've been making them colder and colder, but not all the time. I won't shower in a warm one, but I don't.
There's a little space next to Mike if you guys want to, if anybody wants to go.
All right.
We're going last, guys.
Hope Mike's warm.
I gotta cut him my knees.
Thanks for being considerate.
All right, I'm scooching in, buddy.
Greenhouse 50.
I only have 3 hours. So,
I'll take something.
take your foot out. You want to try? Alright, I'm going to lay down too. What about putting your head under?
Yeah, so everyone should put their face in at the end. Okay? If you want to put your face in for a little bit, that's fine, but you should put your face in as you get out. You should put your face in. If you want to, these guys are laying, their face is out a little bit. Do that for a little while. You want to sit up for a little bit then, but then put your face in. It's definitely a different experience with your face getting cold on it.
I just go straight under.
Yep, go ahead. Yep.
I read somewhere that if you put cold water on your face, actually slows your heartbeat. Wait, why is black water actually physically?
How was it?
Woo! It was cold. It was shocking at first, but then after you gotta control yourself.
Right. Yeah, then you gotta chill, right?
Yeah.
He's going last.
Wow.
So I'll go
That was intensive.
Like the first 45 seconds. But then once you hit that zone, it was like after I opened my eyes and started talking to people,
Yeah.
like focus on the people that lose it.
Until I put my face on her, that was like, holy crap. Wow.
Stop it, Shiver.
Yeah, like
Do you want to go a little bit
I
longer?
hadn't heard to get up.
Try and
Yeah.
breathe and try and think about your
I
heat
feel
moving
invigorated.
from your core out to your extremities.
Wow.
You have heat in your core right now. Your
Amazing.
core's not going to drop in this short
And
amount
it's
of
so funny
time.
he said it.
And so your core is going to
In the
start
beginning,
moving
I
that
was
heat out to your
at the
extremities.
end, it was
Just
just my
focus on
hand.
that. Have that intention, and it'll start happening.
He got in, and I feel like I warmed up the water around me. He got in, and the cold water came over.
You do. You won't wrap around. You can start breathing. You feel it.
Yeah, no. There's like a little.
You can do whatever you need to, bro. Whatever keeps you in there and gets you through it, I think is what.
Yeah, when he goes out, we can.
Good. Good job, Tom.
Oh, my still.
All right, try and stay calm, guys.
Good job, Tom.
Gals. Stay calm, breathe. Breathe. Relax. Everyone relax and breathe.
I start to shiver a little. You fight it. Relax and do it.
Good.
Yeah.
I find it's the initial shock, and then I find that comfort zone, and I'm fine. Like, you feel the warmth from me, and then as soon as I come out
Try and think about the same thing you guys were thinking about when you were sitting out here in the grass, okay? Just try and focus on warmth, focus on being warm, focus on your breath.
You do get that little warm area around you.
You got in the water. It just
Oh, soak it all up.
Damn it, Tom.
That guy's cold. Well, you do that in my warm bubble. Yeah. If you just move your arms like this, you feel it. Oh.
Good job, Sage.
Nice
You don't
work.
want it at all, do you, Needs? Is it warm?
Good
I
job.
have a towel. Good for you. You have a towel. Oh, you didn't have a towel. I'm going to.
Probably like a minute and a half.
No.
Yeah, want to go longer? You can.
No,
We can get out. Feel all right? Cool. Do you feel like you're focusing like the same place you were when you were out in the grass, or totally different? Okay.
I'm running out the I got my face wet.
Sage, if you want to do the horse stance again like we did last time, you can do that. Run around, do some push-ups, whatever to warm you up. Yeah.
One guy.
Wow.
There's that Reynolds. Talk to Josh.
That's terrific, but
So supposedly,
yes.
so Wim said that you could, if you start practicing putting your hands in ice water, like 2 minutes every day, it'll
Second time. I'm doing it the
I
second
know,
time.
it's a thing. Talk to Josh, he knows what it is. He knows what it is. I think our jobs are up in
Josh.
the band. Go grab them.
My middle finger's white. All the other ones are.
I got that the other day out of nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, go for it.
What is it called?
Oh.
Like a,
Oh my God, Meg!
Nicely done, Megan.
Yeah.
Good job.
Is that from when you were cold?
no, I was just sitting there. It happens, but it does. It happens with
Ready,
cold
John?
exposure. So,
Doing it?
but next time back, I just massaged mine.
Yeah. That's so
But it was pretty. At least you
Deep
had a
breathing,
reason.
get some deep breaths in.
You were in there for a
Feel
while.
calm.
You crushed
It's
it.
only gonna
You
be
look
cold for a
like
little
it
bit,
didn't
and
even
you're gonna
bother
be okay.
you one bit.
Last night I was in this spring for like an hour. Oh, watching watercress.
Were you either one?
Oh, you were the one.
Yeah.
You were the one.
So you like kind
We
of
heard the
cheating a little bit.
You know.
That was impressive.
Yes.
I'm doing it the second
Did you get your head
time.
at the end?
Go grab
That's
the back of the
stunning.
band.
A little bit.
I was afraid of that more
Did I
than
get it at the same time?
Oh my God, if I use-
He's past his hard part. He's good now. Right?
I'll give you that rush of cold that they're
There you
promising
go.
you.
The moving water.
I'm going for the time. Me too. Megan, was that fun? It's
It's gonna be cold to start, but it's not that cold. It'll be fine. Just breathe.
Time.
breathe and stay calm.
I was scared. I thought I was going to not do it. But I did. I
Really good. Was it easier this time?
Yeah.
I didn't give up.
I stayed in longer.
Which is great.
At least you have an excuse. Like, I don't even use
I was really in the water.
You do?
That's how you earn your ice.
Just wait.
Yeah.
I wish I had a diet. You know what I mean? Something I can improve upon. But yeah.
We're gonna go again. Do you want to go after us? Before us?
Try and focus on the same place you were when you were sitting out in the grass here. Okay?
What?
Kind of deep.
I don't know.
Breathe.
Okay, I'll go before.
Yeah, beyond it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. You guys are both fine.
Where do you live on?
It's a hot tub.
I'm over on the Conde Bueno.
Not a hot tub.
It's not?
They make it look like the longest tub.
Isn't it
Like it's
awesome?
nice
Hey.
and warm.
Counter off, but it just didn't open like that. I was kind of pissed about it today.
That's not the spirit of negotiation.
I know. I was like,
I might lay down this time. I might lay down this time. I might.
oh really? No. This house is like,
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Don't want to give you a brain freeze if you get that up your nose.
I'm just trying to do it internally.
Harper just did it. I already got a towel.
Harper did it too.
You're probably around 2 inches.
I think it's I don't want to. I don't have Jason.
Yeah,
too.
great. Do I have to get out?
Yeah, this time, yeah. I mean, you can go a little bit longer if you want.
I wouldn't need it, Dave. I didn't.
I think the cold shower does this is one of those.
I think you're prepared. Yeah, you guys are doing great.
Although my
this is the second time I've looked at it. I brought in a guy to look at these.
I keep my leg out. I got a cut.
Yeah, go for it. It's going to be interesting.
I keep moving now.
this should help my knee too.
Dude, if you knew somebody with a float spa, you'd go in there and that thing would be healed in a couple of hours. It'll heal up cuts and all
If we
parts.
don't want to
Oh, stunning.
Only we knew some brother.
I know. Weird.
What, me?
It's all the same.
It's not that. Yeah.
You want to go in again?
You're about it.
I'm really
You're
But
about
I
it
feel
too.
fine, but I'm
If you feel some shivering, then just let it happen. What I usually start to focus on if I feel that, I just try and breathe and calm myself a little bit, and then I think about my core heat moving out to my extremities. That pushes it out.
Dad, what are you doing?
You're probably going to run through it.
Dad, you gotta go in here.
I mean I could go longer. I'm not uncomfortable, but my body is
Yeah. Yeah. Give yourself a couple more seconds.
People to the house and take it.
Dunk your face one more time. And
Well, it's on the owner's passed away.
yeah.
No, I know.
Less water up your nose. Right?
It's like I think it was.
I don't know why the water went right on my nose. Like that. I didn't. It wasn't like I was trying to breathe. It just
Right.
So I was
was like.
like joking like, well,
Dad, go in. Why are you gonna go in
Good
here?
job, Tara. You got the towel.
The more it costs.
Dad, are you going in here?
well, they're gonna have a big vacuum.
He's going in
It
there.
actually helps.
What's that?
Going
under?
under.
Nicely done, Kim. Was it? Does it look hard?
It's not hard. That is not hard.
Sweet.
No, I imagine as it gets colder.
I
I think the colder.
This is going to be different.
Wading through the snow and
Well, extremities are hard.
Yeah.
So toes, fingers.
Tara, leave your
that's hard.
towel
I did this
down
winter. I was doing
here.
a lot of barefoot snow walking, and I didn't know how to not be in like torturous pain.
yeah, I've tried. Yeah, I've tried. I do that a little bit.
Why I started laughing last time.
But now it's
It's just weird.
I didn't go all the way up.
You just started laughing for some reason.
Down Austin, there was a giant. Spring. It would be, 100 You want to jump on that thing because it's so hot.
after doing it, it's
Ow!
wipes you out.
I don't want to do that.
We were done like Russian you guys, but I essentially do my form of yoga. So just stretching. I do 3 breathing rounds, and then I do 1 round of breathing of the no breath push-ups, and then I start doing essentially like my version of yoga, just stretching, getting this is in the morning first thing.
Yes, I will.
And then I always do something that's hard for me. So for a long time, I think I took you guys last time, I couldn't do the yoga headstand. So I did that.
I'm working on a split now. So split's my next
That
hard
was
thing.
nice and
So pick a
fun.
hard thing, a thing that's
Oh,
hard for
I
you to do.
have
And what I
a
tell people is, like, if you
limit.
can't do a deep squat, just, you know, start getting down into here, do the breathing and focus. It just gives you,
Yeah.
if you've done the breathing already and you've done some push-ups and you've done some stretching, you're perfectly primed to do something with your body that you can't do yet. And so it lets you work on a thing that you can master. What's up, man?
How about I clean my room?
Clean your room is a good one. Yeah.
He's married.
Daddy, it's not cold
Yeah.
at all.
Yep. When we're talking about Wim Hof method breathing, we're saying 30 to 40 breaths with that withhold at the end.
Okay.
And then breathe in and keep that in and release it. So that's one set of breathing.
Yeah.
So 3 sets of that, plus the push-ups, then some stretching, then a thing that's hard for you. Okay? And maybe a thing that's hard for you is more push-ups. Right? It's totally up to you. There's a if you guys
before you're doing those things.
How many times?
always do a
A set of breathing before.
no, I just breathe while I'm doing it.
Okay, while
so
you're
like
doing
so
it.
the,
Alright.
the thing with the so
So,
it's for the stretching. Everyone sit back down to the swamp down here. So the stretching, I literally do the breathing. I go
Yeah.
right. And with each breath, I try and go in deeper. I try and focus on the muscle that I'm stretching and think about. You're literally, I mean, your circulatory system is pushing good things to those muscles, right? And so I try and focus on doing that and helping that anti-inflammatory stuff happen and make all the goodness go to where it's got to go. So I'll do this, and this, and here. I'll do like this, down dog, cobra, and then I go into the headstand. Right, yeah, I'll do the headstand with the breathing. And then so like here's where I'm at with my split. You guys saw it last time. Tell me if I'm any further. So
Oh yeah, you're good.
Dang, bro, that's a lot further than I could go. That's impressive.
I hold it for 10 breaths on both ways and switch and go the other way. So I mean I literally started this like this high. I was like, like there it was bad. So there's definitely something to it where just breathing into it, and you're practicing it. This whole thing ideally becomes a practice for you. I do it every day. I do it typically after lunch. I'll do another 2 sets of breathing because it wakes me up, gets me going again. So do that morning routine. And what I want you guys to start doing is, last week we were taking hot showers and switching it to cold for like the last minute or two. Now I want you to turn a cold shower on, do your set of breathing, right? Get in for that last step in the shower, feel the shower on you, and whenever you start breathing again, breathe. Again, don't stand up really fast at the end of your breathing set and get in because you're gonna pass out. Do it with somebody else in the house, ideally too. And stay in for at least 2 minutes. If you can get a full 5-minute cold shower, do it, okay? If you can get 2 minutes, switch it back to hot, and then finish on cold, that's fine. But let's get at least 2 minutes this time, and this will start getting us ready for the ice. Mike did it!
That was good until I got out. Once I got out, I got cold.
All right, so just add that new experience of getting directly into a cold shower. Okay? And if you, like I said, if you have to, turn it back to hot for a little bit, and then go back to cold for the end. Always finish it on cold. All right?
It's not.
So advisable to just go straight to cold. Like when I would do it, I would turn it, like make it go colder. Gradually. That's not what we're looking for.
Let's go right in.
Okay.
Waiting.
I'm such a
Well,
jerk.
We're 4 weeks away from ice in there. We're 2
Bumping it
weeks
a little
away
bit.
from being in there, which in there is not that much worse than there. It's just flowing. It's flowing. But we're 4 weeks away from ice in there. Ice in there.
Oh.
So if we're at 50 degrees in there, we're talking another 20 degrees colder. Okay? It's quite a bit more intense. And then we're going to do ice every week from then on out. And it's going to be fine, and you guys are going to feel great after. Okay? The ice, the effects of the ice, we only need 2 minutes in the ice, and the effects of that last for 8 days, literally. Okay? So there's all kinds of cold shock proteins that get released in your body, lots of anti-inflammatory stuff, and 2 minutes is not a long time. You guys saw that today. All right? So let's start with these cold showers, get that feeling going. First thing in the morning if you want to, that's when I tend to do them. But it's fine if you want to go out and do some work outside, get a little bit hot, the cold shower feels good, do that too.
Can you lift after you do your morning routine or not?
You'll get one in.
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, yeah? I mean, I feel energized. So,
Yeah.
so the breathing sets, that lasts for 8 hours. Okay, so 8 hours, up to 8 hours afterwards, you're going to have that. Your bloodstream is going to be more alkaline, and you're going to have more oxygen in your bloodstream than you normally do. So that lasts for 8 hours. So if you do it twice a day, you're usually doing it for the whole day.
I don't know. I was in there. I didn't
But
time
the
it, but
effects of
more than 2 minutes probably.
our cold water
But at the
baths
same
and
time,
our ice baths
I got cold
are
as soon
lasting,
as I
like I
stepped
said
out.
again, for about a week.
Also, I got
So,
shot by, I don't know
for
what.
doing this a couple times a week,
Yeah, I think
we're
that's what
doing
it
it for a
was.
whole
Yeah,
life,
that's exactly.
so I try and make it.
Couldn't have been anything.
I tend to
don't
do
think of it, but
cold
then I started
showers at
shivering.
least 4, maybe 5 times a week, and I do the
relax into
ice
it again.
about every hour. And I
It's like,
I try and now do it a little bit differently. We'll get into this later in the class, but now I try and challenge myself a little bit more. Where I don't even I don't prepare, don't do the breathing, don't do anything. Just go get in there. It's a whole different experience.
Bounce back
And
or
like
something like
getting into
that.
that place,
I
getting
did.
ready, getting.
I spent 15
But
minutes.
we'll do that those last
just
couple
up
weeks.
here. And then I did like 3 minutes under.
All right.
And then
Thanks,
the
man.
other thing is one of the
Hey,
things
good
I-
job, guys.